As a gift to those of you who are actually watching my videos and doing what I'm actually asking you to do, what we're going to look at today is solving multi-step equations. And what I'm actually going to do, guys, is I am going to do 6 of the problems on your homework for you to give you some examples. So if you're watching this video, instead of having to do 18 problems, you only have to do 12. So I want to say thank you for watching the lesson videos, and hopefully this will help you by doing some of the ones that you might find a little more tricky. So let's start with an easy one. We're going to start with number 4 on your worksheet, okay? Now, what we have for that is 6 plus 5c equals negative 29. Now, what we need to do first with two-step equations, we're kind of going to do our order of operations backwards. We are going to undo addition and subtraction first, and then we're going to undo multiplication and division. So this is our variable, and we're asking ourselves, what is being done to our variable? Well, it's being multiplied by 5, but also it's having 6 added to it. So first we're going to undo the addition, and this is a positive 6, so we're going to subtract it from both sides. Now, these are both negative numbers, guys. So when we put them together, even though we're subtracting from a negative, that means we're going to have a bigger negative. So on this side, these cancel out, and we get 5c. And that equals, on this side, negative 29 plus negative 6, which is going to give us negative 35. Okay? Now, what else is being done to our variable? Well, it's being multiplied by 5. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. So to undo that multiplication, we're going to divide, again, both sides by 5. These 5's cancel out and leave us with just c. Negative 35 divided by 5 is negative 7. So that's number 4. Let's do another kind of basic two-step equation with number 6. Here we have 18 minus 4v equals 42. Now, again, we're going to look at what's happening to our variable. It's being multiplied by negative 4, and it's also having 18 added to it. So we want to undo this addition first. We're going to subtract 18 from both sides. So that will be, these cancel out on this side. 12 minus 8 is 4. That leaves us 3 here. 3 minus 1 is 2. That gives us 24. Now, this whole term is going to come down with the negative sign. Don't leave your negative sign sitting up there. You need it. Now we have negative 4v, or times v, equals 24. So we are going to divide both sides by negative 4 because that's what our variable is being multiplied by. Make sure, again, you remember that the sign goes with whatever term it's right in front of. These two negative 4's cancel out and just leave us with v. 24 divided by negative 4 is going to be negative 6. 24 divided by 4 is 6, but we have one negative, so our answer is negative. So there's the first two problems for you guys to copy onto your worksheet or type in. You guys can stop the video and get those added into your homework if you want. I'm going to clear these off and go ahead and do the next two. So the next one I want to do is number 8. And I'm going to do that because it's got this wonky little thing here where we have x divided by 4. It looks like a fraction, but it's not. It's just division of the variable. So again, I'm going to write down over here, we are going to undo addition and subtraction first, and then we're going to undo multiplication and division. So in this case, this 5 is being added. Again, it's a positive 5. So to undo that, we're going to subtract 5. Again, anything you do in algebra to one side of an equation, you have to do to the side. Some folks like to make this like a little T-chart so that you make sure you're doing the same thing on both sides. And if that helps you, do it. So these two cancel out. Plus 5 minus 5 gives us 0, so those go away. Now, 1 minus 5 gives you negative 4. Okay? Now we have on this side, this term comes down. X divided by 4 equals negative 4. So what's happening to our variable here? It's being divided by 4, so we need to multiply it by 4. And if we do it to one side, we do it to the other. These cancel out. Because you're doing the opposite operation, they balance each other out. If you multiply something by 4 and then divide it by 4, it's the same as multiplying it by 1, which is nothing. It doesn't change the value. So all we're left with on this side is x. And here we have negative 4 times positive 4, which gives us negative 16. The next one I want to do for you is similar, but it's got a negative sign in there, so it might be a little trickier for you. We have negative h over 3 minus 4 equals 13. This is number 9 on your homework page. So again, we're going to undo addition and subtraction first. So we're going to have to undo this subtracting of 4 by adding 4 to both sides. 13 plus 4 gives us 17. Our equal sign, of course, comes down. Negative 4 plus 4 gives us 0, so that cancels out, and this term comes down. So we have negative h over 3. Now here's the thing about a negative sign with a fraction. You can put the negative sign with the numerator or with the denominator, but not both. If it's on the top and the bottom, it would cancel out and make a positive. But the way that the rules work and the way division works, as long as you've got the negative in one place, you're still going to get the right answer. So for this little problem, it's going to be easier if we put the negative sign down with the bottom number. So let's change this to h over negative 3 equals 17. And why is that easier? Well, it's easier because if we're dividing by negative 3, then we can just multiply by negative 3. And it actually takes a step out for us. So here we have these canceling out and just leaving us with a positive h. And over here we have 17 times 3. 3 times 7 is 21. Carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 more is 5. So now we have our answer, but again, we have a positive here and a negative here, so that makes our answer negative. All right. Go ahead and get those onto your homework while I clear this off, and we will do 13 and, well, it's listed as 27 on your paper, but it's actually 17. I don't know what happened there. I'll try to fix it before I give it to you guys. Okay, so let's look at number 13. I do this because there's a fraction, and I know you guys don't like fractions. You tell me about it all the time. All my students hate fractions, but they're nothing to be afraid of. They are just little division problems. So let's look at this. Again, what we're going to undo first is addition and subtraction, and then we will undo multiplication and division. So here's our variable term. 7 is being subtracted, so let's undo that by adding it to both sides. These cancel out because they make 0. This term comes down, which is 3/4 times q equals 8 plus 7 is 15. Now, fractions as coefficients. That's what we call the number term in front of a variable is a coefficient. When you have a fractional coefficient, the way you need to get rid of it is to do what we call multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of a fraction is basically the opposite of the fraction. Or, how I like to say it, flip and multiply. And I'll show you why that works here. When we multiply by the reciprocal, we flip the fraction. Now, of course, if we do it on one side, we have to do it on the other side. And make sure you're multiplying by the reciprocal on this side. But over here, what happens is on the top, you would multiply and divide. If we were to do this as its own problem, we would have 4 times 3 over 3 times 4, which gives us 12 over 12, which basically gives us 1. It cancels out. A lot of times you'll see me do this. The 3's cancel out and the 4's cancel out. That leaves us with just q, our variable. But now on the other side, we do have to multiply by this fraction. So we are going to put 15 over 1 to help us do that correctly. We're going to multiply our top numbers. 15 times 4. Well, I know 15 times 2 is 30, so 15 times 4 is 60. And 1 times 3 is just 3. Now again, this might look like a scary fraction, but all it is a division problem. What is 60 divided by 3? Well, that's just 20. So when you have a fractional coefficient, or the numerical part of your variable term is a fraction, what you need to do is multiply by the reciprocal, or flip and multiply. Let's look at another one that has a little bit of a different layout, but please come back to this example for number 14, 15, and 16 to show you how to do those problems, okay? Let's look at number 17. Now, number 17 looks like this. We have c minus 5 all over 4 equals 3. Now, let me tell you something about these types of problems where you have a phrase that's being divided by a number. What we want to do is we want to treat this phrase like it's in parentheses. Now, remember, when we're solving equations, our order of operations kind of gets flipped on its head because we undo addition and subtraction first, then we are going to undo multiplication and division. And if you think about it, we would undo parentheses last because we're flipping that order of operations. So what we want to do is we want to leave what's up here on top of this line as if it were in parentheses, and we want to deal with this down here first. So our variable phrase up here is being divided by 4. In order to get rid of that, we are going to have to do the opposite operation of division, which is multiply both sides by 4. Now, these two 4's cancel out because 4 over 4 is 1, and it doesn't change the value when you multiply anything by 1. Now that this division is gone, we can take the parentheses away and just have c minus 5 equals 3 times 4, which is 12. Now there's no more addition, or there's no more parentheses, and we got rid of the division. So now we can get rid of the addition or subtraction. So in order to undo subtracting 5, we're going to add 5 to both sides, and we just get c equals 17. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing on number 18 for that problem. Treat what's above the line as if it were in parentheses and leave it alone until you undo that division. Guys, I appreciate you watching this video, and I appreciate, hopefully you understand that because I've given you the answers to 6 of your problems. So hopefully you can get the rest done. Again, if you're struggling, rewatch this video, rewatch the Khan Academy videos. But hopefully this video will give you examples of each different kind of problem that you're having in your homework, so you will be able to apply the same rules that I've shown you here in the video to the other problems. Good luck with your homework, and let me know if you have any questions.